So here's where we entered the course, Spring 17 Math 12. And then the course documents are in the course. This one is to talk about the syllabus. So I'm not going to read it to you because I'm quite sure you can read, but I like to hit the highlights. So I'm Mrs. Debbie Hill. I'm happy with Mrs. Hill, Debbie, Professor Hill, any of those are fine. My office phone is here and my home phone. I really don't mind if you call me at home between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. This goes to a message recorder and I do listen to the messages. So that's not a great way to get in touch with me. I'm much more electronic and will answer emails a lot faster than phone messages. I have two email addresses, my college email address that I use for college business, and then this PacBell account is the one I use for all of my math lab communications, just to help keep them together. And the book we're using is called College Algebra. It's the 10th edition of the book. It's been out for a while, so very likely you could find a used one if you wanted to buy just my Math Lab Access and buy a used textbook, you can do that. If you buy at the bookstore, you get a bundle that includes my Math Lab Access and a softcover textbook. About $100 of that cost is the My Math Lab Access, and about $25 of it is the softcover textbook. So if you want to just get my Math Lab Access, you can do that. If you get it at the bookstore, you can't return it if you open it. If you buy it online, you can return it within the first 2 weeks if something changes. Also, if you need free temporary access, that's available in the screen where they ask you to pay. If you scroll down to the bottom, it tells you how to get free temporary access. The class does have a prerequisite of Math D. If you're enrolled or on the wait list, the computer has already checked that for me. But if you're hoping to add, then I would need to check that. You need a scientific calculator with a log button. We don't use graphing calculators in my class, so you do need to have a scientific calculator. They're about $20, or we have a class set that I'll bring on test days that you can borrow one, but I'd suggest you get familiar with it before the test day. The dean's contact information is here in case you need to contact her. That's where students go if they're not satisfied with the results of talking with their instructor first. I have a web page for the class. It will eventually be set up with things like quiz and exam solutions, handouts, the movies that I make, that sort of thing. The class meets Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Please make sure that you're planning to come Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. It's not a 2-day-a-week class. It actually works a lot better. You'll see once we get started that it's just much easier to only have an hour and 15 minutes worth of math to learn at one time rather than 2 hours. My office is in room 313C in the V building, so just down the hall from our classroom. I will have office times. These actually have changed a little bit. I have Monday from 11 to 11:30, Wednesday that same time. Monday from 2 to 3 is an online office hour. Wednesday and Friday before class I will be in my office, and then I'm going to be spending an hour in the math center on Wednesday evenings from 6 to 7. If you're absent more than 2 weeks, I might drop you from the class, but I would contact you first. If you decide to withdraw, Friday, April 7th is the deadline, but please talk to me before you make that big decision. I give you a review exam the first day of class that's due the second Friday, and that's worth 5% of your grade because I want you to take it seriously and do a good job of reviewing and getting prepared for the class. We'll have 3 exams. They're each weighted 15%. Oh, actually, I'm going to do them a little bit differently. I'm going to have the first one be 10%, the second one 15%, and the third one 20%. So the first one will be a little less stressful. That's kind of my idea. The final exam will be 25%, and it's over 2 days, and I'll tell you which materials on which piece of the final exam, so you can just study for each day. Homework's 10%. It's done online using my math lab, and I'm quite serious about expecting you to spend at least 2 hours doing homework for each hour of lecture. I mentioned the mini quizzes. There's about 41 of them. Each section we learn. After you do the homework, there's a mini quiz so that you can check yourself and see if you have actually learned the material. The helps aren't available while you're taking the mini quiz, but they are available when you're reviewing a mini quiz. There'll be about 38 pre-quizzes, one for each class day. and they'll be in my math lab, and they'll do before the class meetings. So I make a little video, an introductory video. You watch the video and take the pre-quiz, and you can take it as many times as you like. So allow yourself plenty of time to do that preparation before class so that you're really ready to learn the new material. Quizzes are worth 10%. There'll be about 9 quizzes. I often throw in an extra one in case you missed one and want a better score to be able to throw out a lower score. 5% participation. You have to be there in class to get the participation credit and work well in groups. So I'm always watching for that when we do group work. The grading components are weighted out as shown here. If you need any sort of accommodations, please let me know. Academic honesty is expected. This is my policy about graded exams. If you get your graded exam back and you take it out of the room, the score will not be changed. So if you have any questions or want to discuss it, you need to leave it with me. I will be using the Starfish early alert system, so you can expect to get emails from me. And the idea of that system is to try and catch students and give them resources and help they need before it's really hard to do a course correction. This is our Title IX policy, and it's important that you know I'm a mandated reporter. And so if you have something you need to discuss, I can get you in contact with a confidential person that isn't a mandated reporter. And then here are the course outcomes, what you should expect to know by the time we finish this course. So if you have any questions about the syllabus, please let me know. And that's